Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
Welcome back to the show, you guys. It's your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni.
How are you?
I'm ready for showtime.
Wow, you look ready for showtime. Got the shoulders out?
You got the shoulders out.
We got the shoulders out. Ow.
You
just playing that in her.
I'm not even supposed to say like,
I like it.
that doesn't
I like
add
it.
up.
Well, guys, we're here for another fun episode of the show this week. We are reviewing a Netflix series called Forever.
That was based on a book.
Based on a book.
So it counts.
Full circle. Absolutely. Definitely full circle. I do want to give you guys a little bit of a synopsis about the show. So here we go. Forever on Netflix is a teen drama series inspired by Judy Blume's iconic 1975 novel of the same name. The show reimagines the coming-of-age love story for a modern audience while honoring the novel's core themes of first love, identity, sexual awakening. It was released on Netflix May the 8th, 2025, and the series was renewed for a second season. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
so that kind of tells you.
You know what would be funny if they showed up in the reboot for a different world?
Ooh, that would be cool.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my
You
God.
just broke my mind. That would be fun. And also too, if you guys are new here, we spoil things. So we are going to be talking at length about the entire series. If you guys want to watch it before you listen to our review, I respect your choices. So
Or if you're like my weird family members who can't stand to wait till the end of the series to find out what happens, this will also be good
would
for
be
you.
perfect. Yeah. So, it takes diversity here, guys. So
Yeah, it
however
takes
you get
different
it.
strokes to move the world.
It does. So then we should dedicate the show then?
Sure, I'll do that.
All right, guys. So we're going to dedicate the show. So hands over your hearts, everyone. Okay, so this is the portion of the show where we dedicate, our efforts towards something either that's made our week great or just something that we admire. What I admire are our patrons. Every week we like to give them that prime spot to thank them for their continued support. You guys, if you are not a patron, you should definitely pop over to our Patreon. We have a lot of bonus content there. Also, I want to dedicate this show to... I'm going to dedicate this actually to those tacos you brought over here, friend. I was really hungry. It's been a busy day. And they were so good. And I feel like I'm doing a better job now because I'm fed. So thank you. I don't have to be hangry. So kind of to you.
I made the right decision because at first I was going to be like, well, what do you want? But I'm like, God, that question's annoying. I know what you want. I want steak tacos.
Any kind. I will eat just about any kind of taco. So
yeah.
So yeah, shout out to you and those tacos.
In case, and
dedication.
just some free game for you guys out there. If you're like, you don't want to bring somebody, get them steak tacos. Watch them and turn them down.
Or chicken if you're not sure.
If you're not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
What about you?
But yes, my dedication is going out to Dave Young and Maurice Walker, who both left us YouTube comments this week.
Ooh.
That really helped to. It's so encouraging because we worked so hard, you guys, to get this product. So Maurice
cute.
Walker commented, let's see. I liked this one. This is my favorite. Okay, ladies, dedication over. Just so I can stop
yes.
Ladies, I've probably watched at least 30 YouTube vlogs dissecting sinners and went to see it 3 weekends in a row. Y'all bit it, pun intended, and are now in my top 5 favorite reviews. Sisters have been the most insightful and passionate about it. I suspect Kugler concurs. I should have subscribed after I saw your Percival Everett James review that you rhapsodized about. Now I just did. James just won the Pulitzer, of course. So thank you for subscribing and for leaving those beautiful words of encouragement.
Yay.
And David Young also commented the movie was deep. There's a lot of hidden details. I had to see this movie 4 times.
Oh my goodness.
So yes,
thank you guys.
Yes. So
appreciate it.
So everybody and just everybody who comments and likes and interacts with our content, it means so much. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely, you guys. So glad you enjoyed it. What a fabulous, thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this. I know this week I was really excited to talk about this. I don't know if you have any information you want to share with our listeners in terms of the creators of the show, anything like that, friend?
I do.
All right, then.
Okay, so Mara Brock Akil is an American television producer and writer. She began her screenwriting career at age 23 on South Central on Fox. Do you remember that show?
It sounds familiar.
It was dramatic. I remember it because it was a spinoff, and I feel like Lorenz Tate was in it.
Oh, I used to love him.
Right?
I mean, I still do.
It was. It's like, no, my love for him has ended.
Yes, no more. No, I still love you.
He's still fantastic. He still looks the same,
he's great.
too, which is wild.
He does. He's adorable.
And I feel like he's one of those men, too, who stayed with his, like, pre-fame wife.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
That must be hard.
No, it's not. It's like, it's just smart. Like, it's just the right move. Like, that just means he's like, no, this is who held me down, and this is who's going to keep holding me down.
That's right.
And so she's born in L.A.,
okay.
And she's got an NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Writing in a Comedy Series.
Ooh.
And and she did her thing.
Well, she sure did. I mean, so we talked about in our, what was that we did? The live on Instagram. That this was based on a Judy Blume book. I did say that in the intro as well. And I was asking you on the live, had you read this prior to us looking at the actual series?
And the answer was no.
Right.
But since then, I have listened to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and it was short, too. It was like just over 4 hours.
Oh, as an audiobook. Okay, I like that. I like it. So, I wanted to so before we kind of get into it, I wanted to ask you just generally, how similar are these stories from the book to the series? Like, is it really similar? Are we just getting the essence, if you will? Or, I mean, is it like...
It's very different.
Okay.
Because it's about these... The original Forever was written in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And it was these, like, sort of what I would call rich teens... who link up at a New Year's Eve party, and then he invites her skiing, and they link up, and their parents are both kind of like, it's nice that y'all like each other, but y'all about to go to college, like y'all need to just kind of chill out.
Man, just chill.
And I mean, of course there are parallels because the human experiences, there's some universal themes. And but yeah, overall, I think that since we have way more than 4 hours of content in Forever,
nice.
We've got 8 episodes that are 45 to an hour long each.
Very much
and so we're able to go a lot deeper with these characters. But what was interesting is I feel like a nice parallel was because they're, because the main character obviously wasn't called Keisha in the original. Her name was Catherine.
Very nice.
And the dude's name was Michael, I think, instead of Justin. Yes, Catherine and Michael, they were, they get together at this New Year's party. They have this, like, really intense relationship. Summertime comes. This is their summer before going off to college, so they're trying to make money. So they were having trouble finding jobs. Their parents intentionally find them jobs away from each other. And so they write each other a bunch of notes. And to me, that was an interesting parallel to Keisha and Justin, who are constantly texting. My one note for something I didn't like, the font they chose for the text. I found it hard to read.
Really?
Maybe because of mold.
Yeah.
But it was...
Definitely. Just want to be agreeable, friend.
It was...
Yes, and.
I feel like they just could have used...
Old and rickety.
Just use Arial. It's just easier to read. I mean, I get it. It was a...
Youthful.
Yes.
And, like, fun,
or
kind
maybe
of.
it's Comic Sans. It was a little tricky for me to read. But other than that, I don't really have any notes. I thought it was excellent.
Oh, my gosh. So, you guys, senior year of high school... I mean... I'm just trying to, this felt like it transported me back to that time a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's one of my favorite things was the fact that I felt transported in a way, because it is super hard for me to get into my puppy love bag.
What? You don't remember caking on the phone that night?
I remember. It just feels like forever ago, but it's like it forced me to really be in it though. And to really feel those feelings, because I mean, it's like it feels so far removed for me personally that it's like, like I've said it on the show before, like the joke of when we see people in love, it's like, man, look how stupid they are, all these dum-dums, you know what I'm saying? You just wait, or just, just that puppy love phase though, but like how strong and deeply you're feeling this, because it's so new. You've literally never...
You never knew there was a love like this before.
It's like, yes, because it's well, I was gonna say it's like having kids, but no, but it's the same idea of like tapping into a part of yourself that you didn't have access to before. And I do remember that shift of like, in fact, one of the first guys that I liked that I had like some actual like interactions with over time, not just like crushing on you at school and I didn't see you, but like in my like orbiting in my area or whatever. The first summer I met him, he got on my fucking nerves. He was super annoying. And then the following summer, all of a sudden, he was like, he was funny to me. And like, I wasn't even attracted to this young man, but at first. But then it was like his personality, because we spent more time. And then I was like, dang, that's crazy, because he just got on my nerves.
Yeah.
And how that can
That
change.
shift.
Yeah, how that shift can happen. So,
it's powerful.
it definitely is. So it was really fun to kind of tap into that, you guys. Just really, puppy love. Like what a phenomenon. And then too, just the layers of it too. So let's set the scene. I know we already said they were, senior year of high school, getting ready to go to college, but our main characters.
We start junior year.
Junior year, yeah, that's right. It was a junior year.
We start junior year.
Junior year.
At New Year's, so it's like middle of the year.
I was gonna say,
year.
like we're winding down for junior year,
and it's weird because like they're in California, so even though it's like because that's why it's like hard to track the time, because it's like it's always 72 and beautiful.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, there's a Christmas tree in the corner, so now it's winter time.
It's December.
I got you.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And so we have our protagonists, Justin and Keisha. So whose team were you on?
I don't look at it like that. That's so stupid to me.
No, I had to pick a team.
Well, you pick a
Team
team.
Justin.
You're on Team Justin?
Yes.
What I don't understand what we're rooting for here.
I felt like
you mean like in the end or just in general? Like, I don't understand the question.
During the course of the series, the character who irritated me the most, because I feel like we had two protagonists. Like, I feel like we followed them both pretty much equally. And she got on my nerves more.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, as far as a lot of the moves made, like, I don't like want to jump at her. The way she was treating him. Like, I feel like if the roles were reversed, like, it would have been... Because this is the thing that was kind of interesting, too, about the book. Like, reading it, because I started reading it after I started watching the show, and even at the end of the book, there was an author's note where she was like, hey, I wrote this back in the 70s, like, before AIDS and stuff. She was like, even if you get on the pill, because the character, Catherine, she ends up going to Planned Parenthood and stuff like that and getting on the pill. Okay. But now she would be like, man, I wouldn't even suggest just being on the pill. You got to use a prophylactic every time.
Period.
Too. And... But there was also some stuff, too, with the Michael character where he violated consent a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a way that wouldn't have seemed problematic back then.
Okay. But if they had tried to implement that in the show, it would have been like...
now it would have been like, oh, because he kept telling her, she was like, okay, you can come in here, but just don't touch me. He'd be like, well, what if I just put Ralph up against you real quick?
It's like, it's like the tip in kind of whole thing.
Like
oh my gosh.
It was like, not every, but at the beginning, it seems like every sort of intimate act was just him, like, kind of ignoring what she just said. And then like, don't this feel good, though?
You really wanted
and
though, girl.
She's just like, okay. And it's just like, yeah, that's not great. So there's a couple of things like that where it was like that. But to me, a lot of times, I got frustrated because just, if you do we want to do a breakdown for people who haven't seen? I feel like if you're watching this, you've seen it, but maybe
I was
not.
hoping you were going to do that before we got into all this. That'd be great.
We start off with Justin. And he is a junior at this private school in California. He lives with his parents and his little brother. He's in his room. He's trying to write this paper. They're giving us the clues that he has ADD. Like you see the book about how to cope with ADHD. And he can't seem to just pull it together, whatever. He's got this. His mom's really on him. It's giving Black excellence, high achieving, because they're in this gorgeous home.
Oh my God.
Like, because I remember thinking, I'm like, they're clearly multimillionaires.
Pool in the back?
Right, because she's talking about the daddy owns a restaurant, but I'm like, she must be the one making the money, though.
Well, I'm sure it was a team effort, but yeah, it sounded like her educational background anchored them in a space where he could then pursue his dreams of becoming a chef, and he was sweet at it, so it was nice,
Yeah.
It's like how regular people get to do. That's messed up. How regular. Y'all know what I mean. I ain't gonna say it, but y'all know the subtext. Okay.
But yes. How just standard Americans.
Standard Americans.
No, non-hyphenated Americans.
That's right.
So, yeah. So we're starting off with him, and he gets invited to this New Year's Eve party and runs into Keisha, who it turns out he went to elementary school with. And she recognizes him, but she doesn't clock her. And they get to talking or whatever, and we established that he's probably on the spectrum. Well, for one, just having ADHD, you're already neurodivergent, but they also hint that he might have just been neurodivergent because he's just super honest and he has trouble kind of connecting, because I think I pointed this out in an episode before that most people are dishonest and weird, and that can be kind of hard for people who, if their neurodivergency makes dishonesty really uncomfortable for them.
Okay.
Which is sometimes an important part of engaging socially. Like, you can't just be honest with people.
Yeah, you gotta be lying.
And they're like, yeah.
Like I did to you last week, French.
Lies are the glue that holds society together. Like, you can't just be like, oh, how are you doing? And it's like, man, I just had a really painful, emotional episode earlier. Nobody wants to hear that. They just want to hear fine.
Yeah. So my boyfriend really tried to pressure me into sex last night.
Right. He'll be like, hey.
Right. It's
like nobody really wants to hear that. But anyway, they connect immediately. And, because Keisha, she's only coming because her best friend Chloe invited her to her house. She's having a fondue party at her super fancy house. And, but long story short, Keisha left the school because her boyfriend leaked their sex tape. And it was just too much emotionally for her to deal with. She never told her mom about it, though. She just told her mom it was just the racism, which there was.
Right. She wasn't lying.
She wasn't lying about that, but that wasn't breaking her down. It was really the fact that she was trying to survive this sex tape. So she goes out with Justin, and they have a cute little date or whatever, and they're at the movies, and she's just like, oh, I'm finally feeling like this feeling again. So she goes in to, give him a little,
top him off or something.
And he's a virgin. He wasn't ready for all that. He was like, hey, it's first date. I'm not ready to pull my pants down.
And also, he didn't want her to feel like, because they had like a little shopping thing, he had this gift card, I guess, for his birthday or something. And
no, for Christmas
or whatever. And, he ended up buying her a little something because he was like, I'm not going to spend this whole thing or whatever. But he was like, I don't want this to feel.
A ton of shit. I'm rich.
I don't give a fuck about none of this.
Right.
And that was the contrast.
Because that was the thing. Go ahead.
She came from like a lower, economic kind of situation. So for her, that's like,
big.
You gonna just let me get this cute bag or whatever? So yeah, and he didn't want her to feel like, okay, because I got you this, now you owe me that.
Yeah.
So he
just wanted to make that sure. It's like, it's not
but
like
you're socially awkward.
But then she gets paranoid. She's like, have you seen the video? And he was like, I don't know what video you're talking about. But as soon as she storms off, one of his friends, because they had seen them together, he was like, oh, I knew that was her. And sends him the video and stuff. And he was just like, I don't care about that shit.
Yeah.
And actually, we talked on the Patreon about why he might not care about it that much.
I just
so go to Patreon if you want to see Kat's hypothesis as to why Justin was maybe able to, wasn't as hurt by that video as maybe some other people might have been. So, but he's like, you know what? I don't connect with a lot of people. Really want to get her back. So he's, jumped through all the hoops because she blocks them. Like, I love how they incorporated like how kids use social media and stuff like that, and the phones and all this stuff.
Block,
so basically, it's just this push, pull. He's trying to get her to tell her parents or tell her mom about the sex tape because she keeps hiding it from her. he keeps on, and then Christian, her ex-boyfriend who leaked the tape, he keeps showing back up. Do you feel like she was mad enough at him? Because this is something I was watching with my daughter, and my daughter and I both, maybe we're just the way we're petty. It's just like, I have to hate you forever now. I hope you understand that.
I don't care if you understand it. And actually, that's insulting to think you don't understand it. Because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that you're this.
Before, like, men don't seem to have the same neural network we do.
Well, he even admitted he understood how messed up it was after the fact. Maybe not in the moment, but I don't no, definitely not. I think what was sad to me is that she didn't feel like she was enough of a priority to make it a big deal. I think it's a symptom of low self-esteem, or you feeling like, again, like there's always this sort of messaging that you get at times where it's like, I think she got the sense of he's a star, air quotes star, right? Because he was a huge basketball.
They were calling him the next LeBron James. He was kind of short.
And at the end of the day, that's supposed to mean more than our aspirations.
Yeah.
That's supposed to mean more than the fact
mama pissed me
that
off
she
too.
was a track star, a straight A student, knew where she wanted to go to college, was working hard to do all of that. Like, I think it was looking cute. She was adorable. Like, I think that, maybe she was just socialized to feel like she was
her mama.
She was like, you're supposed to be this perfect girl. Like, I kind of sympathize with her, where it was like, you're the first one probably going to college, and they called her Irk or Urkel to signify like she's always been like
Black
this smart.
nerd.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think she just felt a lot of pressure to keep this perfect image of herself, because that's what
the front fest.
That's what we expect from girls. You're not supposed to be out here sucking off your boyfriend, and then when it gets leaked, and especially if your mom's drilling to you like that's what you're not supposed to do, and then you do it.
Well, she kept telling her you're not supposed to get pregnant. She's like, well, I wasn't doing anything that would get me pregnant.
Yeah, but it's still a sex tape,
and I think the mom, and I'm going hard on the mom a little bit because I feel like she was living vicariously through her,
which lots of parents
do, but which puts an undue pressure on your child, saying you want her to be like this black Cinderella.
It makes sense to me that she felt like that.
Well, I liked Shrek when they pointed out Cinderella was a mentally abused shut-in. Like, do you really want that for your child, or do you want her to be like self-actualized? Like, to her, the highest honor was like, ooh, you get to be this beautiful ornament for a rich, successful man.
Because in your mind, on some level, Mom, you don't see her as her own individual person. Like, you have internalized that message that women are only important when they're associated with men who have certain accomplishments, whether that's money, they play sports, or have a
job.
Clout, right. And I think
he's working out with the Nike trainer.
That's an easier sort of I can see how you get there when, you get somebody like Justin and his trajectory, right? Like, his background, he's less impressed with that kind of shit, because in him, like, you have a dad who owns their own business. You have a mom who graduated from college who is doing this and that, whatever, Keisha's mom's deferred dreams, like, she's, working to barely put her kid through school. So
I think she just
it's
have
a survival
stigma
situation
too, where she feels like you're sending your daughter to these private schools where these kids have all these.
And now you're the black girl who was sucking some guy off in this sex tape. It's like, great.
Right, because she's like, now we're everything that everybody thinks we are.
Yes.
Instead of thinking about, like, your value isn't in how other people,
yes,
your status, that box that people put you in.
Yeah, I sympathized in that way, because I just understand how hard it is to be a young woman and to be a sexual being, and to try to mitigate, like, okay, who am I versus who am I supposed to be, and just trying to figure it out. Like, it's tricky. It can be tricky.
It can be. So it's not like I didn't empathize with Keisha. It was just,
no. It sounds like you didn't empathize with Keisha, right? That's what it sounded like.
More with Justin.
Okay.
Because
and I didn't
think
feel
he was
more
drawing
or less
healthy boundaries where he's just
look
like,
at his background. Of course he was. He was fucking well adjusted. He had two loving fucking parents who invested everything in him. Like, that's so easy. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not a fair comparison, so I can't pick teams.
But
that seems crazy.
It's not, but life is just inherently unfair. So
it is, but the team thing is weird.
My whole thing was because she's also really smart too. So here's the thing.
Book smart.
Well, yes, book smart. Same thing with Justin, though. I feel like,
because I got notes on Justin's ass too, though. His clingy ass. His thirsty, clingy ass.
Her daddy clocked him. He's like, yes, he is using you as a distraction to start his life.
Like, let's be for real.
It was that, and that's very true. But at the same time, she knows she wouldn't have been cool if he went to prom with his ex.
No. Now listen, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
See,
Let's get there.
Was what bothered me.
Let's get there.
Because I was like, Justin's mama got on my nerves a lot, but I kind of saw where, like, you do my baby like that, I'ma feel kind of way.
Period. Yeah.
You know, like
this heifer. You're a heifer. You're basically a heifer I see you.
And I do like the fact that, because like I said, Karen Pittman played the mom. She did a great job. She's a very good actress.
There's some good actresses.
But when her first reaction when finding out that Keisha had the sex tape, and she wasn't super chill Cash Money about it.
No.
But then she got, she slept on it and was like, you know what? I can't just care about how this is affecting me and my family. Like, we're supposed to be a village. And at the end of the day, like, she identified the prime problem, which is her mom needs to know about this. This happened to her. She's the victim in this situation.
I would want to know if my child was being exploded and going through it alone.
I can't protect my children.
That's crazy.
Unless I have all the information.
And when I can't, I want to think that the adults who are around, who are observing some fuck shit happening to my child,
just like,
is gonna at least give
instead
me
of just
some
being
information.
Like, hey, girl,
yeah, listen.
Because everybody's talking about this. Because I think that's what killed her too. Is like everybody knew about this. But
yeah. And I mean, that is a terrible feeling.
Terrible feeling. Because they already think I ain't shit because I'm a single mom. Because let's talk about it. I'm a single mom. And everybody wants to make these assumptions. Like, well, something must be fucked up with you since you can't keep a man.
Well, I mean,
so goddamn. So
that's what they be saying about Hallie too. It's like the bitch must be crazy. She can't keep a man.
There's
it's
already
like
these assumptions coming at you for the fact that you're single,
right?
And so, and she's doing everything that she can. Like, you can tell she's pouring everything she's in. She can't even take a walk on the beach because you get into fights because this girl hurt your feelings over Christian and stuff like that. So. Boom. Like I said, I enjoyed this so much because it was so very real. Because these are the failings that we have as human beings. Because as much as I would like to say, it's like I've approached all of my problems perfectly and raised my children with no difficulties. It's like I'll have you know. It's like, no, we've all made some mistakes.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It was really cool watching this with my daughter. We didn't watch the whole series together, but the first couple, I think first 2 or 3 episodes we watched together.
Yeah, I was thinking
and she was getting immensely frustrated. But of course, she's watching it from her position of privilege.
Yeah, I get it. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it on both sides. I felt empathy because it's like, just because I have this privileged background doesn't mean that like the kind of grit that Keisha had, the kind of dedication and sort of, pragmatic approach to her life beyond high school was like, I'm just keeping my eye on the prize. She had this terrible situation happen with her boyfriend who she thought she loved, lost the trust. Like, I just need to get to Howard. I'm not, and then meeting somebody and life happens, and then trying to navigate that with something that she was dealing with by herself that she wasn't sharing with her parents. She had to take on a lot more. Like, I think Justin's pressures were just a lot different. His were more so geared toward, which I empathize with him when it's like, on the same end, he has to perform as being this perfect child. Like, we've created this perfect environment for you to grow up in. You're going to the best schools. We want you to focus on what we feel like is your best bet, which is college education, and then the mom wanted him to go to her alma mater, and you feel all this pressure, in basketball, and he wasn't even starting. And I mean, like, you're in junior year. For the record, guys, like, if you have kids in sports and you think that they're going to college off of their skills, unless you're rich like his family, like Justin's family, you got to start early. You don't start your junior year after Christmas talking about you want to start at a Division I or with an A1, whatever school playing basketball.
Here's the other thing too that was the subtext in that. I think that he was skilled, but he wasn't being put in because this is something that happens. The other richer families are like, I want my kids playing.
That's exactly what happened. I think that was pretty It seemed blatant, but maybe it wasn't. They didn't say it, but it was kind of like, why are these sad scrubs playing?
I've heard similar things with my daughter. It was like, there's been complaints that my daughter got too much playing time.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we're donors or whatever. We're one of the
it's just like,
families
because it's a private, it's a private league, so
Mm-hmm.
everybody's paying to be in here though. So ain't nobody paying
I thought
more
it was
than
a
anybody else.
meritocracy. What the hell?
And it's kind of like, I feel like this is in Chris Rock's last stand-up special. It's like, there's a way to get in the game.
There's really literally one way. Just about.
And he figured it out.
Obviously not.
And
right.
like I said, like he was like, man, at a certain point you're like, fuck it. I'm just gonna
more of that, Justin. That's what you that's the thing in life though, right? Like sometimes you have to care enough to find your own way. It's not about somebody. So what I liked is that Keisha was able to kind of help him tap into that part of himself, because he was very, I was listening to Michelle Obama and her brother's podcast, and they were talking to some guy, I don't remember his name, but they were talking about, basically like, is it better to invest in yourself first and then find love type thing, right? Like there was a listener that kind of came in and was like, I'm almost 40, I'm looking for love, but I know that I need to have like a lot of, like financial security, that sort of thing, to have a family. I'm not exactly there yet. I don't have anybody yet, but also if I don't have, but also I have this business idea and I'm really into it and I want to pursue it, but that means that I might be taking a pay cut. The trajectory for that is maybe some years, but I think it's a great idea and it's what I'm passionate about. And he was like, I don't know if I can have both things at the, if I can have both things. And so, basically the question being like, should I pursue a relationship or should I pursue my career? And I thought it was nice that the messaging around that is right. So the answer is ask Michelle Obama.
Okay, it's like, what did Michelle Obama say?
No, she was just saying like, all three of them, because the guest, the brother, Michelle was saying like, look, my trajectory from a young person was like, I understood very early on that the expectation was for me to go to good schools and to perform well. And that's what I did. We went to my primary school, went to, high school, got into Ivy League schools, did all of that. But there was never a point in which she was asking herself, like, what do I actually want for me? What kind of life do I want? So that's why she found herself working at a law firm up on, overlooking Michigan Avenue in this giant office, comping meals and whatever. But she was like, I fucking hated that life though. Like there was nothing about it. She was like, I was so unfulfilled. I so didn't like it. And that was when she started asking herself the question, like, what kind of life do I want? And I think that's what happens with kids, especially when you have either parents who are pushing you academically to hit these marks of like education or whatever. It's just hard, I think, to strike the balance between, okay, here are the sure things that I know as an adult person functioning in this society. I do know that if you have an education, your chances fare better. If you do these certain things, here are some certain careers that if you go for, you could find success. But also, just because you're doing that doesn't necessarily mean success, financial success, career success doesn't always equate to personal success in terms of like happiness, fulfillment. Those things also have some weight in your life too. And so I think Keisha, she knew that she wanted to be in a space that valued being around other Black people. She knew she didn't want to go to a PWI, a predominantly white institute. Right, like I'm doing this, and those were things. So she was asking herself some of the questions, like when it comes down to what kind of life do I want? Because she fucking kind of had to though. Like I think when you have that cushier life,
she's like, I'm not gonna be able to lean back.
Bitch, I don't have a mama who can call the dean and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I don't have a dad who owns a business who I can just work as a sous chef if it came down to it, or he can 1099 me for any number of fucking things, like, so that sometimes like that lack of security
or can just buy you a car,
buy you a brand new Jeep. Okay, your senior year in high school, that was crazy. A fuckmobile is what he bought that baby.
I was just about to say
My
that.
God.
I'm glad you took the words right out of my mouth.
You're welcome. Fuckmobile.
Because honestly, I think about the fact too that, let's just go back to Keisha, and because I feel like her major conflict was dealing with the sex tape.
Yeah, so the prom thing, that was
and
whack.
stuff like that. But I also think about the fact too that ultimately the video that got out was one that she took and sent to her boyfriend just on some cute shit. And at the end of the day, that means her mama paid for all that.
Oof.
Like, that was on my data plan.
Oof.
You know what I mean? Like, you paid for the privilege.
Yeah, you did. And that feels
just
bad
that
too.
idea of like, ooh, because when she was doing that budget, I saw that phone bill
was on
$273.
there. Yeah, ooh, got that good data package.
Yeah, and I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
So, okay. What did you think about, so like at some point in the story, you know, it's this back and forth. They end up kind of together and you see the little montage of like all the months of
like
them
Tina and
posting. It really was. They were just really into it.
I love you. I hate you.
So
I
cute.
Love you. I hate you.
And then
You're
it was like, I love you, love you, love you, love you,
You're
love
black.
you.
You're black.
Then it was just love for a while. And so then when we
Like
passed,
to the little honeymoon. Oh, because she chased him down. That was another thing, too.
I was trying to work
I'm
up
sorry,
to
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were past that. My bad.
No, you're
My
not
bad.
listening, friend.
That's my bad.
So that's the part I wanted to get to. Like, so so everything was going really great. And then, was it the prom thing? Was that what made them? What was the incident?
The catalyst was when she went up to the game where Justin's team and Christian's team were playing each other. And Justin's feelings was hurt because he thought she was up there to see Christian when she was really up there
But
to see
he was
him.
already mad at, they were already mad at each other about something. What were they mad about?
Because when Christian came up to the park when they were up there.
Okay, so
and
let's
then
say
with the mamas, he hugged her, his mama. Fuck, nigga.
And the thing is like, that's so messed up that Keisha felt like she had to do all of that. Like, that's the other thing. But also, I know that women do that all the time because you're just expecting to,
you don't want your mom,
you don't want nobody to feel uncomfortable. You don't want
Yeah.
his career to be ruined. You don't want your mom's idea of who she thinks you are to be ruined. You also it's like, I want this to go away. And maybe if I just fucking ignore it and don't talk about
That's
it and just
young
pretend,
thinking.
it just is
Yeah.
a lack of insight. But
Because Justin was like, this ain't going nowhere.
And to me, it's like he had the emotional maturity in terms of like being honest, because that's what she ended up appreciating about him and how he would just, say the thing as opposed to, and I think that's what she learned from him, which I like that. And then she kind of taught him on the other hand how to go for what the fuck you want. Ask yourself what you want. You deserve that, so it was really cute. And even though high school love isn't always the final forever love, but there's lessons in there and they were just so cute. I just loved it so hard. It was just so cute. But yeah, so the point where they got to where she was chasing him down. So there was the game. So she shows up to the game. So the significance of that was like, she's thinking in her mind, like, I'm showing up to show him, because she hadn't been back to the school since the sex tape dropped. She was showing up to the school where everybody was whispering and shit about her. So it took a lot for her to actually go. But I guess she was sitting on the side that was rooting for.
Yeah, because she was just sitting with her
Bitch,
friend
I don't
though.
fucking
Because she's
know,
like, I don't know anybody who goes to your school.
And he's like, this bitch done came to the game, sitting on the side of this guy.
Trying to make eye contact with me.
Yeah, because you already, and he saw her
and
kiss
I'm riding
him.
the bench because he already feels insecure because he's not getting any PT.
And he's supposed, and I guess, her ex-boyfriend is like, the
The next
man or
LeBron
whatever.
James.
I didn't really see that in the, no, I'm just playing. But whatever, he was supposed to be.
He was getting scouted, he was ranked, all the stuff that I think Justin felt, it was plaguing his, like I said, this reminds me of
His
Insecure.
insecurity, yeah.
Like this was like Insecure with a very much younger, because we're in California, great soundtrack.
Very, very good soundtrack.
And all that stuff, but he's just kind of like, this sucks.
This
but
dude.
I didn't like the part where she just kind of lightweight stalks him. Like just walks behind him like Jason Voorhees until she wears him down. I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend that.
But he did that to her too.
When?
He stopped. Remember when she blocked him and then he was like in his driver's ed thing?
Oh, and just pulled up on the school.
And stopped. Yeah. And he came up to the school. They
unblocked.
both did it.
Well, that wasn't as intense as just following him down the street.
I don't give a damn.
Though.
It's still some
really
stalker
reverse
shit.
if like there was a dude just following a girl down the street.
Of course, that's worse because men are
Kill you.
scarier. Yeah, like in general. You know what I'm
she
saying?
couldn't kill him with her.
But
her bare
also,
hands.
he was on some weird shit pulling up on her like that as well. Like they both were on that young on that young bullshit.
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying? Like once they got past all of that,
and she chased him across the country too.
She showed up.
She's like, my
on
man,
the
my man,
vacation.
my man. She's like, I'm coming to get my man.
I can't relate to that, honestly.
No, it would have
going
just been
across
time
country.
to date other people.
Yeah.
Like
if I see him, I see him. And if I don't,
but I
don't.
get it. But here's the other thing, though, I get too, because I would have been, like if that had been me and that had been Justin, I'd have been like, okay, it's like, oh, he's like cute and nerdy and like honest.
I'm going for it.
I'm going.
He
like,
was
but I'm not going across the country, though.
Can we talk about it? They were so beautiful.
They're so cute.
The casting, their chemistry was so believable. Lovey Simone, that's her name.
They did a
Keisha
great
Clark.
job. You're right.
Michael Cooper Jr.
The casting, the styling, immaculate.
What did you think though about their first little sexual encounter that they had?
So you know what's crazy? I really couldn't watch that.
You fast forwarded it?
I mean, I actually worked on the thumbnail for the Sinners.
Because they're supposed to be teenagers.
I just felt icky. But did they even end up doing it, or did? Because
I think it seemed like
when he was at her apartment.
Yes.
Okay.
So because they tried before and couldn't. And then they were like, just come to my house, because they kept messing, like they'd be trying to study and stuff like that.
Had cameras.
Of course.
Because she popped in just in time. She's like, I need that door open.
Right, absolutely. And honestly, I wasn't allowed to go in.
Heck no.
A room
that
with
big-ass
my
house,
fine-ass
go
boyfriend.
In the family room.
Better get up in there, right?
Big-ass gorgeous house.
You can still sneak kisses in, by the way, too, when they walk out.
In the pool, the mom was like, go out there and do a cannonball.
Right, yes. I like it. I like that about her.
Not getting pregnant in my house.
That was great. But dang, what was I saying? The sex scene.
The sex scene.
You asked if
when he came over, she was like, okay,
if they did
come to my house when my mom did one of her many jobs.
So they got there, he takes off his clothes and stuff. She starts to try to like get him excited with her hands or whatever, and was being kind of aggressive. Like, I think they were giving the signals that they're both inexperienced, right? So then he's trying to go down on her, and it's probably too rough. Probably feels terrible. And she's like, hold on.
Should listen to Stack.
So see Sinners for that. And then he tries like to penetrate her, but I don't think it worked.
Okay.
Because then it was like, I think they were indicating like she was a virgin. Like if you didn't get that from the beginning part, in terms of like vaginal sex anyway.
Right.
Yeah, she hadn't done that or whatever.
In the book,
so it seemed
something
like
similar happened. Like the first 2 times they tried to have sex, he prematurely
ejaculated. That happened.
Okay.
And
it wasn't until later they were actually able to actually really have sex, which is fairly common.
Yeah. I mean, it's like terrible at first. It's just like no one knows what's happening.
It's fumbly. You just know they were just constantly on each other too, though, which was so once again understandable.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we're just like, oh my God, when he was doing sit-ups and she would come up and give him a kiss. Me and my daughter watching that part, we were like, barf.
Oh my God. Look at that. They're so
Or when he finally
cute.
got the Jeep and picked her up from school and everyone was like, oh. It's like, why aren't I in love?
That's my babe.
Like,
All right, guys, bye.
Like,
yeah. Okay. So cute.
But I think
it was cute.
What the parents were trying to communicate and what I think the book was trying to even communicate was that this is a really intense feeling, but you need to spread this feeling out. You shouldn't just attach it to this one person so early.
Yeah.
And in the book, that's why the parents were like, you need to go off to, teach tennis camp or whatever. And while she was out there, the Catherine, which was the Keisha character, while she was out there, she met up with another tennis instructor and they started boinking.
Oh.
So.
Exactly. It's like, well, wait a minute. Did I ever really love him?
And then when he just shows up, when she stops writing him letters, and they try to hook up again, she's not as into it because she started linking with old dude, and it's just kind of this thing. But it's like that song. Remember that song with Usher and Alicia Keys?
My boo.
You know it. Yeah, where it's just like, there's still that first time. There's
Nothing like
Sade
it.
song. It's never as good as the first time.
Never as good.
But I think she was talking about heroin.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That feels like drugs. That feels like a drug
But
reference.
it is a drug. It's dopamine.
It is.
And that's why it's hard when you break up, and a lot of times why you end up getting back together, because you hate missing that feeling.
Yeah.
And you really do feel like it's like, oh, I'm never gonna have this again, but you will.
I liked that, she got into Howard. And, was able, so it was like, oh, they're celebrating her. She's getting ready to go to school. But Justin wasn't as sure about what his future was going to be. So, like, he was testing, trying to go to this school. And I guess at first he was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that. But he wasn't really sure what he wanted to do.
Because his mama was aggressive.
She was. And I mean, I get that as a black mom.
Yeah.
Bitch. And especially when you know that, you know what I'm saying? You're not about to be sitting up in here. If you don't know, then here goes what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to fucking go to school then and figure it out while you're there.
Yeah, at least.
If you don't know.
I would say at least go for a semester, because then no one can ever say you didn't get into Northwestern.
Just go.
Just like Zuckerberg. You know what I mean? Because people are always like, oh, Zuckerberg, dropped out of school. And it's like, no. Zuckerberg got into Harvard. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the part.
And he was actually there.
Yeah, like, don't skip over that part. Like, yeah, maybe he dropped out of Harvard, but first and foremost, you got into Harvard. You got to get in to drop out, because that's a whole nother tier.
Unless it was like a legacy situation, which I don't think that was his.
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Because they scouted him because he had already sold some computer stuff before he went there.
Okay.
So,
dork. No, I'm just kidding. Rich dork is fine. But yeah, I think as a parent, I get being aggressive, especially if your fucking kids don't have no gumption or no, plan or anything. You're gonna do something.
I think she should have had more game. She was too straightforward with it.
Yeah, she should have finessed it a little bit more.
Yeah, because she was too like, Justin, no, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And the daddy was like, oh.
I loved that though. That's so real. That's see, what I will say is that's why it's nice to have a fucking partner, because the balance of it all. Mm-hmm. Because on in some ways it was like, yeah, he probably needed to be pushed. Mm-hmm. Because you're just gonna sit back playing your games and fucking on your girlfriend and stuff this whole time. Like, nigga, you got to figure out what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then the dad was like, he got to be able to make mistakes though. He's got to be able to get out here and live life and start, making some choices for himself. So I liked that because that's real. That's usually how it is.
But I hate to defend the mama, but it's like his mistakes could be deadly.
I don't hate to defend the mama. I get it. I don't hate to defend her at all.
Well,
I think her approach could have been a little, like you're saying, that she could have finessed it a little bit more and tried a different approach, but ultimately, I felt like everything she was doing wasn't from, I felt like the intentions behind what she was trying to do were good.
Because the daddy was like, she's scared.
And that's what he was even saying. It was like he was like the emotional translator. And this is why he has this emotional intelligence, too.
Daddy was fine,
It's because his dad was giving him game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That little silver beard.
He was doing good.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Everything was
really
beautiful.
nice.
It was really well cast.
What did you think about Keisha's mom, though?
She was
frustrating. Talking about mamas. Okay.
Well, once again, we're all doing things to our ability, right?
Period.
But I do feel like she was living vicariously through her daughter, which is always a mistake. And that ultimately, I think she was a good mom, though. She was just too concerned with status.
So with the right, but again, like, to me, it makes sense that somebody at her status would feel like that, because you feel like you're trying to, and we do use I think that is the thing, like, that's real. You're using your kids. Oh my God, I have seen it up close where it's gross, and it's like, so you're just gonna piggyback on the back of your kids, though?
And turn her into Black Cinderella. And once again, I like to point out, Cinderella was not a good, even metaphor for what a romantic relationship should be. And you got the game all fucked up, because if you're saying he's the next LeBron James, then why isn't he buying the prom dress? If he asked you to prom, she just had the game fucked up in a lot of ways. Because that's the thing too, where it's like, you can't buy me track gear, but you bought me a prom dress so I could go out with this dude. Because you see this is like gonna cause
it's like, oh yeah.
Because even if,
because you can post and show people, my daughter, she's dating. Man,
and even bring them to the park and stuff like that. Like, I didn't, and that was the part too where it was like,
Let these kids.
And even later on when she was like trying to take it to court, it's like, well, you know, if he gets in trouble, so does she.
Well, so that's what I was going to ask you. Did you agree with her? Like, what did you think about her reaction to finding out when Keisha finally told her? Because, of course, Justin was like, you need to tell her. And then eventually it came to the point where, like, somebody else's mom told them, like, after they have this, you know, like,
actually, that was when I did agree with Justin's mama, where it was kind of like, I'm not going to sit on this and know this information.
And listen, you can hate me if you want to. Listen, that's the thing about stuff like that. To me, it's like, I got to be able to sleep at night. At the end of the day, and it might be even selfish for me at this point. Yeah. But I couldn't sleep.
I can't just kiki in your face knowing this. Like, you need to know.
And it's a crime.
So you can protect her.
Yeah, like that's
because,
crazy.
like I said, you're moving out here like Christian is just the best guy ever.
Right.
When in fact, why didn't no one beat him up at least?
But I also think that's what Keisha's mom was feeling. She's like, I need to be able to press charges against him because now I feel like I want to be able to do something. But at this
you
point,
can't punish him without punishing her.
So what you gonna do?
Beat him up or hire some like cousins to beat him up if you can't physically do it.
I like how Justin didn't shake that man's hand when he walked up to. That was what's up.
But then he still hugged his mama. Like that was the part too where I was like, that was real good. He knew what he was doing. Where he hugged Justin's mama. He's like, I'm gonna hug your fine ass mama in front of you. Even though and the fact too that Ogre was like, I'll talk to you. No, to me, this is because I think she thought her mom was gonna be like, "Why? You know, I brought him up here to talk to you. What are you being mean for him for?" It would have forced her to have the conversation then, which probably needs to happen. Here's the thing: I think, would you agree that I'm a pretty forgiving person?
Until you're not,
right. Like I get to a point
a point, but like if it's been too many, then it's like it's dust.
I would say leaking my sex tape. Like there's actually a couple steps before that.
But that one
where
for sure.
I'm just like we're donezo. Where I'm not even talking to you. Like it's not enough for me to block you.
Yeah,
it's
you
like
get none of my energy.
Nothing. Yeah. Like I don't feel bad about it either.
But that's the other thing. Right, so that's probably what you can't relate to. There are people who, what we like to call people pleasers.
Oh, I feel like I've been a people pleaser.
But not like, maybe for specific people, but there's people who feel like that across the board though.
Maybe. That was the part where me and my daughter were just like, man.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
I could think of a couple things I could do to fuck this dude up.
Yeah.
That won't come back to me. So,
do you think he was sorry? What do you think about his apology and how she...
No, you don't feel sorry enough to come up to my house and like
the Nike training and all that? Yeah, that was weird. I wouldn't have done none of that, you know.
But
part of her was, I was like, maybe they're trying to convey the conflicted feeling that she feels like when you deeply love somebody, you feel... Like, again, to me, it's probably, I can't relate to being in a no fucking abusive relationship. I've never experienced what it feels like to be treated so poorly by somebody, but still be there. And so to me, I'm like, well, maybe this is like a lesser version of that when it's like, you know, you have this bond with somebody where you feel like, okay, we're in love or whatever. And then this thing happens and you're trying to reconcile that inside of yourself and trying to be like, okay,
make it make sense.
I mean, yeah, you're trying to make it, and you're 17.
Yeah, it's
so you're a fucking idiot in the middle of all of it. You know, so it's complicated. You know, love is complicated.
I think Christian was more stupid than malicious, quite honestly.
Yes, exactly. I feel like that too. But it's
I also hate stupidity.
He gets the luxury of having that moment because again, like we still have to hold Keisha's feet to the fire when it's like, well, why would she move schools and why would she? It's like, man, this is how we're socialized. He felt obligated to still live his life normally, whereas she felt like she had to put the baggage on her back. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that was pretty apt. I'm like, yeah, that's how that goes.
That is how that goes. Because I even think about like back in high school when there were just rumors.
Oh God.
And let alone videotape.
Do you remember any rumors? Yeah. Okay, we won't name names, but what's one? Because we didn't have them.
There was a young lady who got caught giving oral sex to a young man and got caught by one of the janitors in the locker room.
What?
And that was the thing, she left, but he stayed.
And you get to be a living legend for the whole rest of the time.
That was super messed up because it was actually,
I remember.
Yeah. Right.
And I didn't even go to your school.
I remember thinking too, it's like, this is so messed up because it's not just her. You know what I mean? She's the one who got caught, but it was like, man.
And everybody loves the thing that she was doing too. So, but then all of a sudden I gotta go away because I was doing something nice.
And that's the thing too.
No, I'm just kidding.
If someone is nice enough to do this to you, like, why would you? I can never
Be
understand.
cool, man.
Like, just shut the fuck up.
They can't help it, man. They can't help it. You gotta tell everybody. It's so exciting. But also, that wasn't necessarily, the person you mentioned's thing. I mean, they physically got caught or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just hard. And I mean, the amplification of social media and thinking about like that being, that intimate experience being just perpetually online. Like that's really
Forever.
That's crazy. That's
that
really,
was what
really
was
crazy.
another thing that was interesting about the title.
Oh
of
yeah,
it, like
forever.
Because I think it's ultimately ironic because
I think it's supposed to be. It
feels-
does.
and that is the actual meaning of ironic, guys.
Yeah,
it's
the opposite.
Because it's not. It feels like this feeling's gonna be forever and this intense forever. It's not.
It's just not.
It's just.
And that's why we
not.
laugh at people who are in love. Me and my husband, that is. Because it's like, girl, you ain't about to be feeling like that. It's going to take more than that.
It takes, and the
you have
dad
to
and the
try a lot
granddaddy.
harder.
I like the grandfather character,
nice.
Grandpa George.
Grandpa George
He
was
was very different. What do you think of her daddy?
He was a mess.
Yeah.
He was a mess. But also, too,
He
again,
sounded
like
DMX.
he did.
His voice.
It was a little bit like that, loud and.
Yeah.
I mean, he dropped some gems. He definitely had
did.
some, especially
He put her up on
when.
game.
Yeah, he had some
And that was
astute
nice. He
observations.
showed up in time to give her some game.
Yeah. But also, that's what I also thought. I'm glad you said that that the relationship she had with her father, I think, informed the way that she felt like she deserved to be treated by men. I mean, like, you grew up with your dad. I do think that, like, when there are, and not to, like, make it a, definitely every single time, like, if there's something with the dad, but there's something real about that. We learn how to love. You're taking that in. Like, I even remember seeing Justin looking at his parents, like, kissing at each other. And you see him like, that's what I want. Like, that's something that he's like, in my mind, I was like, he's thinking, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for, because that's the example. Whereas Keisha didn't have that.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the way that men
You just
relate
saw
to
the
you in other
struggle.
ways. Yeah, and it's like, I'm doing what I've been socialized to feel like. This is what makes you valuable to a man. My father, her dad was chasing his dreams of being a baseball player or whatever the hell at his old age, at his big age still. You know what I'm saying? And but I also like that she still accepted him for who he was and was able to move past it. But again, like, I just wasn't too hard on Keisha because I was like, yeah, man, that shit's real too, though,
Oh, this was the other thing. I think it was, at least the Judy Blume novel was a counter narrative to purity culture.
I like it.
Because it's this idea of, instead of scaring kids, because I think that's what Keisha's mom was doing, was just scaring, like, don't get pregnant. She's like, okay, great, I'll just give blowjobs.
Right.
Won't get pregnant that way.
I'll do the one blowjob that ends up being on the internet.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, she's like, well, I
Sucks.
wasn't doing anything that would get me pregnant. She's like, damn it, like,
It's like,
that's
fuck,
still-
I had to be so specific.
But instead of just scaring her, just being honest. And so in the book Forever, the character Catherine, like, her mom and grandmother sent her pamphlets from Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
Like, they were just, and like, they lived in New York because her grandparents lived in New York. So, like, while she was in New York, they actually talk her through an appointment at Planned Parenthood and getting on birth control and stuff like that, which I was like, wow, this would have been, I wish I had read it when I was like, that would have
been a great
really,
one.
because like I said, you were my entry point into Planned Parenthood when I needed that. But because I've been taught purity culture, which is you're already fucked up because you
want to.
Yeah.
So just don't.
So like everything that happens to you, you kind of deserve. Because and that is really sad. So getting out of that mindset of actually a more compassionate human way of looking at this is that most human beings are sexual. Sex is powerful.
Yes.
So when you're wielding this power, you have to be responsible.
Yeah. And it's just sad, though, because it's like, if you're a young woman and you're leaning into your sexuality in any kind of way, it's easy for that to tilt into, a situation like you said, well, now I got to leave school, or you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you a bad person to have those feelings or even to do those things per se.
Yeah.
It's just, you have to add the nuance to it. Like, hey, if you're doing this, you need to make sure there's some trust set up. There's some ground rules that should be happening.
And don't record
to protect
it.
you.
It's already enough you're doing it. You don't have to. If you want, like, this doesn't get to live in perpetuity forever throughout the universe. Nobody deserves that. And I think what really drilled that home for me was going to barber school. And watching them, and this was before smartphones. It was just them camera phones, blurry ass camera phones, and every smoke break, them dudes passing them phones
blurry
around.
ass boobs rolling around the
not just boobs.
Now. Oh no!
Yeah,
ladies, don't let them. Yeah, don't be her. And that's the thing. That young woman who decided that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm giving some.
Yeah.
Now look at you.
I mean,
you didn't know that that's what it was they were gonna do with it, but you should assume that that's what they're gonna do with it. That's what I'm telling my daughter. Assume that somebody's going to put your booty cheeks on display if there's a picture of them.
Hearing it and seeing it.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, seeing it really crystallized it, where it was just kind of like
that could be you.
And the fact too, when smartphones came around, I was already parenting, and when you're a parent, your kids get into your phone. Like a lot. That's like what happens. So I never got in the habit of even doing any type of fuck shit on my phone.
God, could you imagine?
Because
Mom, what's this?
I mean, it was always a joke, but I think it kind of helps makes the point where I would tell my kids, like, anything I see on the internet with you, I'ma do it too. So like, just think about that. Like, just anybody being able to pull up and be like, is that your mom?
Yeah, that's her. And I dare you to say something.
Yeah, where it's just this whole thing of like, really cherish that. And also as a society, stop like stigmatizing people who've done this. Like porn is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's obviously some interest in it, and it's not just like the bad people.
Just a little bit.
Like, you know what I mean? So this idea of it's like, oh, you're like this whole pearl claspy like kind of thing.
Yeah, come on now.
And I've also tried to get in the habit of too, when there's like celebrity sex tapes leak, I try not to watch them because it's non-consensual.
Yeah.
Any type of non-consensual like sexual act, like I don't want to see that.
Like that's kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
Remind me to come back to that because I got a Stranger Than Fiction.
Okay.
But I'm gonna pop up at that. I want to say one more. I want to end it off on what did you think how they ended the series? Because you have her making it into her dream school for Howard. She's going to go away. And then Justin was kind of like, maybe I'll go to Howard. And she's like, dude, what? Because I think she was kind of getting turned off once her dad had said to her, like, he's kind of leeching off of you at this point. He doesn't know what he wants to do. And so
you're his distraction.
So she was like trying to make sure that like whatever he chose, it was because that's what he wanted. So, and then it ended with basically him taking a gap year, him kind of linking up with this producer guy who had heard some music that he had made and selling one of his beats and stuff. And then also, was he working?
CVS?
Yeah, just working. Yeah, just working and
so
trying to figure it out.
Himself?
And then after a year, if he didn't make whatever it is that he was doing gonna pop, he was gonna sign back up to go to Northwestern after that. And so, what did you think about how they decided to end that? I thought that was
good. This was the thing, because I had a sneaking suspicion that's how it was gonna end, because I feel like since it was based on a Judy Blume book, and her stuff tends to be realistic, and most of the time, that stuff, even though it feels like forever, because everything was like, he was like, I love you forever. I love you forever. It's like, here's this infinity thing. Forever. It's like, no.
Probably not. Boo.
And like, no one can tell you anything though.
No, hell no.
I feel like that's why it's important to have stuff like this. So there's already sort of like, before I even go into that, there's already been a framework established where this has happened to other people before. That was from Romeo and Juliet. Like, that was the whole premise of Romeo and Juliet, where it was just like
so
the priest
stupid.
is like, just
you're so dumb. That's the whole premise.
Moderately. Like, that's the speech the priest gives. Like, love moderately. Don't overindulge this feeling.
Yeah, especially when you're 14. Like, it's probably not a good idea when your frontal lobe isn't all the way.
But nobody can tell you anything.
No, you sure can't. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's take a break.
True.
And then we'll come back and rate the book. Not the
True.
book. I want to call it a book. Jeez.
I'll rate the book. I read the book.
You did. Okay, you rate the book. We'll talk about the show. We'll be right back. Good. So we're back, you guys. Yeah, what a story though. I really do think this was a good choice to redo this. I like the modern twist on this story. I think that it was very artfully done and it made it so relevant, and it's nice to see classic literature that was like impactful at the time. You know, fast forward 25, 30 years, whatever, when you're revisiting stuff, being able to make it fit our modern, you know, like the modern times. So I feel like this can resonate with kids. This resonated with me. Like I said, it had me in my like, oh my gosh, I remember when it, you know, I remember these feelings. I remember this too. But I like the overarching message of just like honesty, communication, confidence, and investing in yourself before you start pouring into somebody else, even when those feelings are very strong. I do think that it's a message that is important, especially for kids who don't feel particularly motivated academically per se, or don't know what they want to do with their life and don't have a trajectory. I think it's very easy to invest in the people around you because it's like, yeah, this feels great. It's a distraction. Yeah. And then, you know, you look up and you're 30 and you're like, well, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
I don't even know who I am.
What do I stand for?
Right. And now the person you're in love with has a gut and a drinking problem and probably diabetes or something. And it's like, dude, man, he can't even get his penis up no more.
It's like, and that was my favorite part.
This is terrible. Right. And now what? You know what I mean?
Now where are we?
All that to say, invest in yourself, guys.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's very important. So I did like that message. Super excited to see what they do with season 2. That's going to be dope.
Because I've been singing a lot today, and that reminded me of a song, a Meg Thee Stallion song. It was called Plan B.
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
Are you going to rap a little of it for us, guys?
Ladies, love yourself, because the shit can get ugly. That's why it's get money, and I don't give a if that nigga leave tonight, because nigga, that don't run me. You better get on your knees and right before I have another do it for me.
Whoa!
Because don't run me, I run. Yeah, use a.
Whoa, man!
It's a great message.
Oh my God. It's crazy how I don't be knowing the words. When you say I'm really slow like that, I'm like, what? Whoa. All right, then, man.
In my meat, my steak when I'm eating.
Wow. Thank you,
Nigga
Kat.
dumb if he cheating. He's submerged in it like a baptism. He hit this water, then he's coming back a real.
You have to stop now. Okay. It's just, you know, it's just going to be a rap fest after a while. We're just going to have to move on, friend.
That's why they hate Meg, though. She's letting the children know.
She's not going to stop.
Meg teaches the children.
My goodness. Well, I want to rate this series.
Oh, sure.
I think we should talk about how it made us feel. Friend, would you like to go first or should I?
Oh, I'm giving this series a 5 out of 5 orgasms.
Oh, okay.
Because they were in there.
They were. Good for them.
Yeah.
Those are
nice. Because orgasms are fantastic.
Those are nice.
And you shouldn't feel guilty about it as long as they're entered into consensually.
That is so true. I think if I had to rate this, I'm definitely giving it 5 out of 5. And 5 out of 5 beautifully and expertly swirled baby hairs. You understand me? Keisha.
Every
Keisha.
scene.
Keisha. Me.
Toothbrush.
You.
Pro-Con gel.
Baby hair. Okay, the brown kind. All right? If you know, you know. Yeah, it was just so good. Beautiful. I mean, everything beautiful, from the soundtrack to the visuals, to the actual people in it, and to the heartfelt moments and all the struggles. It was beautifully done. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Tap in. Let us know what you think about it. Should I do Stranger Than Fiction or should we spin the wheel?
Stranger Than Fiction.
All right, real quick, guys. I have a Stranger Than Fiction story. real quick. So, you know, you were saying about how orgasms were nice, especially when they're consensual. Now, these aren't real.
Pretty much only when they're consensual. Sorry to correct you on the air.
It's fine. It's part of the show, actually. It's fine. Yeah. So what she said that I should have said though, but these aren't real orgasms or people for that matter. However, I find this stranger than fiction. So there's a Newsweek article. What is No Mercy? The controversial game banned abroad and removed in the U.S. So I don't know how I heard about this, but I'm going to read this a little bit to you guys. A violent and sexually explicit video game called No Mercy has sparked international backlash and political condemnation, with it being removed from the stream platform globally after being banned in multiple countries. No Mercy appeared on the PC gaming platform Steam in early April. The game allowed players to control a character who SAs, tortures, and kills women. I don't know. Can we say kills? I don't know. Okay. It did not carry an age rating or content warning, as it was described by some users and critics as a sexual assault simulator. Like, I want to know, what is the argument for something like this, I guess? I don't understand what it is.
Usually the argument is that it'll let people express it online instead of in real life. So it gets it out of the system.
Why can't you think about it to yourself if that's what you have to do?
I'm not a fan of comedy and then encoding it. Oh God, just think of how much time that takes. I mean, it's just terrible. So yeah, that is a bummer. But you know what it makes me want to do?
Spin the wheel?
Yeah.
Okay. Spin it.
All right. Well, in a turn that I think we could all use, Fearless and Free, a memoir by Josephine Baker, the artist in her own words.
Yay.
And I think this will be great too, because she was a dedication not too long ago, because I was like, oh man, we got to fight the Nazis again. Because she was a Nazi fighter, and I like that about her.
Let's go.
With her titties out.
One of my favorite things about her. The Nazi fighting part. The titties fine. That's fine. Yeah. Do you, girl. Do you, girl. Yeah, I'm excited for next week, friend. This was a great episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I want to encourage you guys to continue tapping into the show. Share it with your friends. Let us know. You know, if there's anything you want us to talk about, anything coming up this summer you want us to review, we're into it. Also, just, take time to do the stuff that makes you feel good, guys. Life is lifing, so tap in. What about you, for anything you want to say before we slide?
Your body belongs to you.
Mm-hmm, sure does.
So, yeah.
All right.
Move about consensually.
That's right. All right, guys. Peace.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers. Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.